Hey everyone, this is DeagleBeagle, and today we're going to go over Kingdra. Now, Jamie Boyd had made a set for it. I believe it had Muddy Water over Weather Ball, and I don't know about the other moves, I forgot, but Weather Ball, look at it, it gets Weather Ball now. I don't believe it used to ever get that. So maybe he just overlooked it because he had Hydro Pump on the set, I believe, on one and Muddy Water on the other. And Weather Ball though just outclasses Hydro Pump it's because normally you're gonna have the weather up. I guess someone could argue, well, they could change the weather, sure, but even if they change the weather, it's turning it into 100 power move in that weather. So if they set up sunny day, it's going to actually have a decent move in sun. It's going to have 100 power plus it's going to have the sun boost, so it's going to be like 150 power plus the life orb. Okay, so it's not too bad even if they change the weather. If they change it to sand or to snow, it'll be 100 power ice or rock move, so it's not that bad. It might even be better than Hydro Pump in some cases. Regardless, you will usually have rain up, and if you can't control the rain anyways, then Kingdra's not even worth using. So if you're so worried about them changing the weather or whatever, then you shouldn't be using Kingdra. Period. But anyways, water is probably the best Tera type with it because you hit really hard in rain and you get stab and an extra boost. You could use another Tera. If you did use another Tera, here, I'll probably show that for the next one. But first, I'm going to go over why I selected these moves on Kingdra. Because for Pokemon that resist water, it's mostly um, grass. Okay, typing chart Pokemon. Let's look at it. Pokemon type chart. Okay. So if you look at what resists water, it's water, grass, and dragon. So you already have dragon to super affect their dragon with Dracometer. So it's really just grass and water that you have to worry about. And dragon does neutral to water Pokemon and does decent damage. So I mean, I guess you could say the same for grass, but you don't want to have to use Dracometer unless you really have to. And you don't have a good way to super affect water types unless you use like Terra, Electric, or Grass Blast. So probably don't worry about the water types. If you have to, hit their ally or hit them with the Dracometer. But now, the grass types like Rillaboom, you could use Dracometer, but you could just do a little. Well, actually, 130. That's 195 power. So actually, Dracometer does a little bit more than Ice Beam, but it lowers your special attack and can miss. So maybe you don't need Ice Beam, but you for sure need two stab moves with it. So you could use Dragon Pulse, but like Weather Ball and Dracometer and Protect are pretty good. I suppose you could use Dragon Pulse, but I wouldn't. I would just go for the hard hits. And you could use either Icy Wind or something instead, or I don't know, Sub or some random move that works well for your team, or Clear Smog to beat Dondozo. Yeah, actually, I might use that. I don't think it's worth using Yawn and stuff though, because you're trying to just outspeed them and do really hard damage normally with it. Um, I don't think I would use Manual Rain either. It just wouldn't work out very well. So you could use Muddy Water if you wanted to have a spread move. It's just I was using Muddy Water and it was missing a lot, and I got tired of it. So up to you. But then what was I gonna say? Oh, a defensive Tera for this. So water dragon Pokemon are weak to fairy and dragon, I believe. Is there another one? I don't think so. It's not weak to electric or grass because it's part dragon. Dragon types are weak to um, ice, but it's part water, so no. So just dragon and fairy. So what resists dragon and fairy? Steel, fairy. Steel resists both fairy and dragon, so I would use steel. And steel is good because you have rain up. So if they have a fire move, you normally have rain up. So if they have a fire move, it's not going to do that much. So steel is like the perfect defensive typing with Kingdra if you want to play it defensively. But if you just want to play it offensively, like most people will, then you go for Tera Water. Probably go Weather Ball. I would not use Hydro Pump. Um, why risk it when it's only 10 more power plus stab? So I guess you could say net 15 more power, but with a 20% chance to miss, it's just not worth it. Just use Weather Ball. And Jamie Voigt totally overlooked that. And I was using Kingdra. I do agree that it's B tier, but Weather Ball would definitely make it better than Muddy Water. You could use both. You could use both with it though, like I was saying, and just be content with using Dracometer on grass types. But personally, I don't think I would be content with that because it not only can miss, but lowering your special attack's not that great. So I would probably use this one and just see how it goes. Or you could just use a filler move in the 4 slot. So I think I covered Kingdra enough. I would just say it's B tier. B tier because Basque Legion is usually better. And he kept comparing it to like Walking Wake. And I thought that was not the best comparison because Walking Wake, yes, it has the same typing. And I guess you could say it's a higher tier Pokemon, but it's comparing apples to oranges. Like it gets photosynthesis. It doesn't get Swift Swim. Even though I suppose you could argue you could just set up Sunny Day with it, get the speed advantage, but you would have to use something like this to get the speed advantage, and that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, I guess you could max out the bulk on it and use it like that to get the speed advantage, but normally you would probably get the special attack advantage. And maybe you don't need all that speed, but to get speed you would have to use something like this. And that would be the most efficient with Modest. So Hydro Steam is a really good move. Maybe I'll do a Walking Wake analysis later, but I'd say this is more comparable to Basque Legion. And Basque Legion is usually better because you can hit things really hard with Last Respects that Kingdra can't, even though it doesn't have Muddy Water. But again, Muddy Water's not that reliable anyways, because usually you're only going to hit one out of the two things pretty hard with Muddy Water, and it doesn't finish things off as well as Basque Legion. And finishing something off with having speed and offense is usually better than just letting them live. And yeah, you outspeed them, but you let both of them live. So it's almost like, what's the point of having higher speed if you can't finish them off very well? But Weather Ball with Tera Water would kind of help with that. Instead of just Muddy Water. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. Thanks.